Hi Warriors, I hope you're well. This is Melissa with Mental Muscle Wellness, and I've got a new video coming at you. This one is all about mobility, so let's dive in. So there is a movement about, haha, pun intended, for mobility work to be a part of your strength training program. And I think that's a wonderful thing. Typically in the past, we've largely seen this with athletes, especially doing a specific warm-up. But I think that these are great exercises, regardless of what level you're strength training at, regardless of what your goal is, and regardless of where you want to be. And the reason for that is mobility work offers two things for our body. First and foremost, just like we see with athletes, it allows our body to have a very specific warm-up for the exercises that we're about to do. And secondly, from a long-term perspective, which is something that I always like to take, mobility work is important because it actually keeps our joints moving well through our entire lifespan. So this is definitely something that I would encourage people to add. Unfortunately, as with the internet, a lot of information can be misleading, and a lot of the routines that you'll see can be really in-depth and can look very, very overwhelming. So what I'd actually like to do today is show you a handful of very simple mobility exercises that you can do depending on what exactly your strength work is going to be for the day. The only thing that you will need for any of these exercises is a little patch of floor and your own body. That's the brilliance of mobility work. We are supposed to be focusing on what our body is doing the entire time. As I usually do with my videos, I'll show you several repetitions. With these, much like strength work, I usually recommend somewhere between 8 to 10 repetitions of each exercise. I'll show you several, and I will also be turning my own body to camera so that you can see the angles a little bit clearer. Obviously, wherever you are, whatever you choose to incorporate in your own routine, make sure that you yourself are comfortable with all of that. So we're going to start with lower body. And just a really simple exercise to look at our hips. Our hips are a joint that really can create a lot of different motion, and that when we're doing lower body exercises, we really put under a lot of stress and a lot of strain. These are simple leg swings, and we're going to do them front to back, so I'm going to turn to the side. All you're going to do, feet square underneath you. Obviously, you're going to do this with both legs. I'm going to show you my left side because that's what's to camera right now. Shift your weight onto your opposite foot. If balance is an issue, you can always hold on to something, a chair, a wall, a piece of strength equipment, whatever you feel is comfortable, but you don't need to do that if you don't want to. You're going to keep your leg straight and your foot flexed, and very easily, very simply, you're just going to swing back and forth. Now the catch here is that we're not going like this, no momentum. We really want to concentrate on what that hip joint is doing and keeping our body under control. And the only thing we want to actually see move is that hip. And usually what I like to do is start small, and then as I sort of feel my joint loosen up a little bit, take that motion a little bit bigger. Again, you don't have to. There might be some days where you're able to do that going into the gym. There might be some days where your body is just not going to cooperate with you that way. Either is okay, and that's another great feature of mobility work. It allows you to see, where is my body today, and plan for that. So again, simple leg swings front to back. We can also do those side to side, and your leg will swing out in front of your body. So again, to show you that, I'm going to swing with my left leg. My right leg is planted firmly underneath me. I kick out just a little bit, flex my toes, and I'm just going to open up and out, and then cross over in front of me as far as is comfortable while I can still maintain standing posture. And again, just like I did before, slow, steady, controlled, concentrated effort. And if I feel like I have the capabilities to take things a little bit bigger, gradually do so through the different rep ranges. So those are two lower body exercises that you can use. Another favorite of mine, again, especially if you're doing lateral motions, simple side to side lunges. So you're going to take your feet slightly wide apart, toes 45 degrees. And it's just a really simple lunge over to one side, up, and lunge back and down to the other side. Again, you can take these really shallow. If this is where your hips and your knees feel good on a particular day, this is just fine. Okay, if you're really going to do some intense lower body work and you want to start taking that deeper, you can, again, through your reps. If you want to be down here, really get that stretch on the inner thigh, focusing on opening up our hips. Again, really stretching all the musculature that's going to bend and extend your knee. That's a really great thing. So again, really deep, kind of intense mobility work here. And then a little shallower. Maybe we're not going to do quite so intensive a workout today, or again, maybe we're just making note of where our body feels comfortable. Up and a little bit shallower. No big deal. So those are some of my favorites for lower body. Upper body, I tend to concentrate the same way. I tend to concentrate on my shoulders, because shoulders, like hips, create a lot of different motion in a lot of different planes, a lot of different directions. So I think it's really important to make sure that we're mobile there. So starting with a front shoulder and chest, this is actually a Pilates exercise called Waitress. You're going to bring your arms up, kind of like goalpost. You can leave your wrists wherever you're comfortable. In Pilates, they like it for your wrists to be flat, like you're carrying a tray. I actually prefer to keep my fingers pointing up. I just find that naturally more comfortable. And you're going to come in and squeeze and out. So again, just like with our lower body here, do a couple like this, and then again, I'll turn to the side so you can see it. Just like with our lower body, we want to make sure that we're moving with control and precision through these motions. Our goal here is to focus on the joint that's moving and make sure that we're moving it comfortably through the range of motion that it naturally wants to take. So again, that's one motion that our shoulders do. Another motion that our shoulders do is to press upwards for us. So, and I usually do these kind of back to back. Our ending point of the exercise Waitresses that I just showed is the starting point for this next exercise. So you're going to come forearms kind of glued together, or as close together as you can get them. You're going to take your fingers and you're going to try and poke them up towards the ceiling. So again, it looks really small, but the idea here is that a lot of us have issues with our shoulders, particularly impingement issues, where coming up overhead is a problem. So instead of forcing it, small motions, see where you're at, reevaluate for that day. Again, coming open to goalpost, our shoulders also twist. So another really great mobility exercise for your shoulders is to actually do that. Now, what I want you to notice is that my upper arm is going to stay at roughly the same parallel, right in line with the ground through the entire motion. So my arms are going to rotate front and down and then back, but my upper arms are staying again roughly at that same parallel. And again, this is a motion where, depending on where your shoulders are, depending on how you feel, any injuries that you might have, maybe this is the motion that you can create comfortably. And that's okay. Again, the point of mobility is to sort of lubricate the joints, get them moving around, see where they're comfortable, and then allow our bodies to sort of slowly work through what we would like them to work through. Fourth motion for our shoulders. We pushed up, now we're going to pull down. Okay, so again, starting at that same goalpost, we're going to come up overhead. Now, traditional form will tell you have everything 90 degrees. I find for most clients, most people, that's actually potentially really painful. So I like to tell everybody, bring your elbows in at about a 45-degree angle. That's a much more natural plane of motion for your shoulders. This will feel a lot more comfortable and you'll still get the benefits out of it. Start from here, and we're gonna pull down and in. The idea being that we're trying to bring our elbows into our rib cage. And again, just like we've done this whole time, the point here, focus on the shoulders, focus on how they feel, focus on if you can make that motion bigger, great. If you've got your body kind of against where your brain wants it to be on any given day, make the notes on what maybe you need to change form-wise for the exercises that you have planned. Last shoulder exercise. Our shoulder is a great joint. It does so many different things, but it also means that there's so many different ways that we can abuse it. So we do need to be careful. These are swimmers, and what you're going to do is you are going to hinge forward at the hips. And I always tell everybody, do that by sending your butt out behind you. Okay, there's a difference between this and a true hinge. Okay, and you'll look, if you noticed, it has to do with the posture of my back. My back is nice and straight here. And essentially we're going to make like Michael Phelps and pretend we're in a pool. So the idea here is that we are rotating our shoulder 360 degrees through its full sideways motion. Okay, so again, just a big, we start out behind, we come over and around. I like to do this alternating arms, like I'm actually in a pool swimming. But if it makes more sense to you or if it feels better for your body, you can absolutely do all one side. And that's how I'll show you here, just so that I don't have to keep turning my body. But again, if here is where your shoulder is comfortable, that's fine, okay? If here is where your shoulder is comfortable, great. If we can slowly get it to a point where it's the big circle like this, fantastic. Again, the point of mobility work is to help your body warm up and for you to take the time to notice what your body needs on any given day. Last two exercises are primarily for core, although the second one is really going to be kind of a full body focus. Lower back tends to take a lot of, again, stress depending on what exactly we're doing strength training wise. And I always think that's always a good one to warm up, particularly because we like to sit a lot, okay? And that will compress all of the vertebrae and the discs and all of that. So by really taking a minute to warm those things up, we're really going to make sure that our spine is good to go. If you've ever taken an aerobics class before, I can guarantee that you've done some version of this. And if you haven't, it's really very simple. I like the Pilates version, Spinal Roll Ups on this, but anything where you're concentrating on moving your spine slowly, again, through its full bend and extend range of motion will serve you just fine here. So again, turn to the side for you. Nice strong stance. You're going to bring your chin and your chest up. On an exhale, you're going to tuck and roll forward. I like to tell everybody, do it almost like one vertebrae at a time. This should take you longer than you think it should. And you're reaching as far as you comfortably can. For me today, I'm feeling good. That's the ground. If that's not you, again, that is totally fine. Pause here. And then on an inhale, you're going to reverse it. Nice and slow. You're going to come up one vertebrae at a time. Okay, so again, it should feel like this exercise takes a good amount of time, but the idea here is you're really trying to feel what's happening in your spine. And your spine is a collection of 35 different joints and joint complexes, all meant to move and work together as one. Okay, so again, one more time, nice and tall. Exhale, tuck the chin. We're rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Again, as far as you comfortably can. Pause, and then inhale, and you're going to just reverse that process. That one's a really simple one. I always like it. I always feel taller after I do that one, which sounds funny, but hey, whatever makes you feel good during the day. Last exercise, this is a squat and low back, squat and hinge combination, but I do throw a little bit of upper body in here as well. So if you're really short on time, the one I just showed you, the spinal roll ups, and this one are probably your best bet. So we're gonna start with our feet squat distance apart. That's a little different for everybody. Me personally, I tend to go about hip width with my toes out just very slightly. But again, you do what feels comfortable and what feels best to you. We're going to inhale, our arms are going to come up. On an exhale, we're going to sit down in our squat position, and then we're going to continue to fold forward again as far as is comfortable. Inhale, you're going to straighten just your legs, and then you're going to stand up the rest of the way. So we're almost breaking down the squat into its various different component parts and focusing on each of the 4 parts individually. So again, inhale, exhale, exhale, inhale, and inhale. Inhale, exhale, exhale, inhale, and up. The great thing about this one is that you can also do it in reverse. So that looks like, starting from standing, the first thing that we're going to do is that forward fold. Exhale down, again, as far as you comfortably can. Bend the knees. Inhale up, and then all the way to full height. Exhale, exhale, inhale, and inhale. So again, breaking it down into those component parts and really taking the time with each one. Okay. As always, again, I'll give you kind of a lower impact or a slightly easier version of that. For the first version, it would look more like this. For the second version, it would look something like that. So again, hopefully what you can see is what's important are the joints in motion, not how far they go, not how many repetitions you can do. It's about the control of it. I hope this video helped answer some questions that you might have about mobility training, and I hope it also gave you some ideas of a few simple exercises that you can add into your own warm-ups. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.